Going to be continuing on today with the reading of Jesus, the Law of Recovery by Dr. Olu Lawrence. And we're going to be on chapter 8. Almost done with the book. The first chapter is about Jesus being the game changer. The second one is wonderful transformation. The third one, our challenges are inevitable. The fourth one is covered by grace. Chapter 5 is power of prayer. Chapter 6 is the law of recovery. Chapter 7 is the key to recovery. And chapter 8 is about divine wonders. If there is one thing you must understand as you read this book, it is the fact that you cannot pursue victory in the power of the flesh. You can chase after man who is also in the flesh, but when we are talking about the unseen and unknown enemy, you need the strength of the Spirit in order to chase the enemy and recover everything you lost. If you want to experience miracles, you must understand the times and seasons as well as the sacrifices that go with them. This is why, if you want to recover all that the enemy has stolen from you, you must be prepared to seek the face of God through fasting and prayers, particularly midnight prayers, because they bring results. Beloved, there is a way you must pray if you are serious about recovering all that the enemy has stolen from you. The efforts and seriousness you put into prayer determines the amount of results you will have. If you understand spiritual warfare, you will agree with me that you are a sort of a commander of the armies of God. Therefore, you have a responsibility to command every good thing stolen from you to be returned. You must command your joy, your prosperity, your peace, your glory, and every good thing that the enemy has stolen from you to be returned. The story changer. You must make a bold decision never to accept any satanic offer. Do not settle for a life of mediocrity, which the enemy is offering to you, because God has destined you for the top. Never take no for an answer. You must cry unto God after the order of Jehoshaphat and tell him to change your story, because he alone can change your story. Jehoshaphat understood the fact that he served the God of heaven, and in his presence can no God or king of the earth stand. This man, Jehoshaphat, cried out to God. He invoked the prayer of Solomon, who, on the day of dedication, prayed that when disaster comes and the people stand in the temple to call upon the name of God, he should hear them and deliver them. Divine intervention. Jehoshaphat held on to that word and cried unto God, telling him that disaster had come and that the enemy had struck. He made up his mind that despite the fact that the enemy had taken what belonged to him, he was not going to take no for an answer. When you are faced with difficult and challenging situations, as you fast and call upon God, you must cry from the bottom of your soul. You must mount pressure on heaven with your prayers, fasting, and your cries, because the pressure you mount on heaven creates a miracle on earth. This is exactly what happened on the day of Pentecost. The believers were praying in the house. They were putting pressure on heaven, which created a vacuum on earth. This is why when the Holy Ghost came, it was like a rushing mighty wind, and it swept the whole room where they stayed. God does not come ordinarily when he comes. He does not come with little, neither does he come with few. When God comes, he comes like God and not like man. When he blesses like the Almighty, because he is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. He does not need blessings in heaven. The angels do not also need blessings in heaven. This is why when God decides to bless, he blesses bountifully. When God moves, a golf expert was requested to come to Saudi Arabia to teach the king how to play golf. The man accepted the request joyfully. The king of Saudi Arabia sent a Boeing 747 airplane to pick this man up from the United States of America. As soon as this man entered the big aircraft, he asked for the other passengers. It was at that point that the air hostess told him that the king of Saudi Arabia sent a plane just for the purpose of picking you alone up and bringing you to his country. When he got to Saudi Arabia, he was excited to teach the king how to play golf for 2 weeks, and he did so. As he was about returning back to the United States, the king asked him what he wanted, and he said nothing. After much persuasion, he told the king that he was a collector of a golf clock. Then the king told him he will hear from him, the king's gift. For 6 months he did not hear anything from the king. However, by the 6th month, he received a parcel from the king. By the time he opened it, it was a 24-karat gold golf clock. It was long in the making, but when he received it, a gift of a lifetime was in his hands. This story teaches us that a king does not give just an ordinary gift. Your Father in heaven is a king, and he has special gifts earmarked for you. Our God is a God who specializes in turning unfavorable situations into favorable ones. By the time King Jehoshaphat rose up the next morning, he saw that the kings who had gathered together to fight against him had begun fighting each other and had killed themselves. God proved to Jehoshaphat that when he decides to take up one's battle, flawless victory is the only outcome for such an individual. These soldiers helped destroy themselves without Jehoshaphat lifting up a finger. This is how to recover all you have lost. That ends the reading for chapter 8. Again, this comes from Dr. Olu Lawrence's book that he has written. It is Jesus, the Law of Recovery. I will see you for the next chapter, which is chapter 9. Blessings.